Greetings, my brother.
You are not my brother, you savage. I am a highly refined, civilized person. You do not believe in land ownership or hierarchical systems, and thus shall die by my hand.
I may not bow to authority or worship mass hallucinations such as money the way you do, but in my soul I carry wisdom, and I speak a language older than words.
I know all I care to know about this existence, and if you dare shake the intellectual foundation on which I stand, a foundation carefully beaten into me by authority figures since my childhood, then I will lash out at you in a fit of unchecked rage the likes of which the internet has never seen.
I'm willing to risk it, as the fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Okay, amuse me with your heathen philosophy. But you better speak quickly. I am finding myself overwhelmingly compelled to brutally massacre not only you and your family, but any people, native or otherwise, who dare carry themselves with the dignity and joy of truly free men.
Wait. What?
Don't worry. I promise to fetishize you after your death by naming a sports franchise after your people.
This is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. Civilization is killing the planet, and it is killing the human mind, body and soul.
Oh no, this is pinko, liberal, hippie, commie, faggot, pussy, tree-hugging, freedom-hating, terrorist bullshit, isn't it?
Call it what you will, you statist, capitalist, fascist, corporatist, slaving, exploiter, liar, twister of words, marauder of truth, destroyer of all that is good and holy.
Touché.
What I want you to understand is that civilization is not, and can never be, sustainable. This is especially true for industrial civilization.
But civilization has been around forever. Of course it can be sustained.
No. Civilization as we know it has only been around for a few thousand years. Industrial civilization has only been around for about 150 years. It grew slowly on the backs of slaves, greased by the blood of resistors. Civilization today rests on a foundation of traditional slavery, wage slavery, debt slavery, energy slavery, and ecological slavery.
I like slaves.
I know. You like them because they make your life easier and more comfortable at the expense of their own autonomy and happiness.
I am okay with this. I will convince myself through the usual mental gymnastics of the civilized that I am doing a service for those whom I exploit. They have jobs now. Well, some of them. And seriously, fuck the environment. I would eat panda nuggets if they were on $1 menu.
I know you feel this way, but traditional communities do not often voluntarily give up or sell the resources on which their communities are based until their communities have been destroyed. They also do not willingly allow their land bases to be damaged so that other resources, gold, oil, and so on, can be extracted. It follows that those who want the resources will do what they can to destroy traditional communities.
Community is lame. I got Xbox.
Xbox, indeed, our entire way of living, industrial civilization, is based on, requires, and would collapse very quickly without persistent and widespread violence.
I don't like to get my hands dirty. I will pay some poor people to beat up, tase, and kill the rest of them.
I know you will. Civilization is based on a clearly defined and widely accepted, yet often unarticulated hierarchy. Violence done by those higher on the hierarchy to those lower is nearly always invisible, that is, unnoticed. When it is noticed, it is fully rationalized. Violence done by those lower on the hierarchy to those higher is unthinkable, and when it does occur, is regarded with shock, horror, and the fetishization of the victims.
I fetishize Japanese teenage girls, with colorful balloons, and bare feet. Sorry. TMI.
The property of those higher on the hierarchy is more valuable than the lives of those below. It is acceptable for those above to increase the amount of property they control. In everyday language, to make money by destroying or taking the lives of those below. This is called production. If those below damage the property of those above may kill or otherwise destroy the lives of those below. This is called justice.
I am fairly high on the hierarchy, so this does not bother me.
Not so high that a cop wouldn't smash your face in with a mag light and without a second thought. Society would defend him because his shiny metal badge tricks them into thinking he has authority seated him by God.
If a cop smashed my face in, or let's say a TSA agent groped my 13-year-old daughter, it would only be for a good reason.
You see? You are very brainwashed. Civilization is not redeemable. This culture will not undergo any sort of voluntary transformation to a sane and sustainable way of living. If we do not put a halt to it, civilization will continue to immiscerate the vast majority of humans and to degrade the planet until it collapses. The effects of this degradation will continue to harm humans and non-humans for a very long time.
I don't care. Everything I see is a resource to be exploited for profit. Trees are lumber. Animals are meat burger filling. Humans are rock-breaking laborers who should be happy to earn paltry wages while building temples to my greatness.
That kind of thinking is going to be your undoing and the undoing of those who come after you. The longer we wait for civilization to crash, or the longer we wait before we ourselves bring it down, the messier will be the crash, and the worse things will be for those humans and non-humans who live during it, and for those who come after.
Okay, so let's pretend for a moment that I give a good goddamn about any of this. What are you suggesting? I really like my Xbox, not to mention my fleshlight.
I'm suggesting that the needs of the natural world are more important than the needs of the economic system. What was that?
I just pooped in my nappies. Did you just suggest that the natural world is more important than the economy?
Is it really not obvious that without the natural world, there would be no economy? That without the natural world, there would be no you or me? That if we care about our lives, or the lives of our children, and their children, about life in general, that we must steward the planet, and not race to convert the entire place into a trash heap?
But the natural world terrifies me. I was raised under UV lights, and stuffed full of GMO, corn byproducts and fluoridated water, while my mummy slathered my face and hands with sanitizer.
I know. Civilized man is quite pathetic. But please understand, any economic or social system that does not benefit the natural communities on which it is based is unsustainable, immoral, and stupid. Sustainability, morality, and intelligence, as well as justice, requires the dismantling of any such economic or social system, or at the very least disallowing it from damaging your land base.
But then I might actually have to know how to live a life as one working part of a greater biosphere. That sounds hard. I like twisting numbers and logic into a magical pseudo-religion, while others do the heavy lifting and carry my lazy ass. In all seriousness, what you are suggesting would spell the death of parasites like myself. And if not death, then my life might gain some modicum of meaning.
Meaning to our lives, spiritual oneness with our surroundings, is a good thing. And although there will clearly someday be far fewer humans than there are at present, there are many ways this reduction in population could occur, or be achieved, depending on the passivity or activity with which we choose to approach this transformation. Some of these ways would be characterized by extreme violence and privation. Nuclear Armageddon, for example, would reduce both population and consumption, yet do so horrifically. The same would be true for a continuation of overshoot, followed by crash. Other ways could be characterized by less violence. Given the current levels of violence by this culture against both humans and the natural world, however, it's not possible to speak of reductions in population and consumption that do not involve violence and privation, not because the reductions themselves would necessarily involve violence, but because violence and privation have become the default.
I take it back. You are not a tree-hugging pussy faggot. You are a tree-hugging psycho.
I'm neither. I'm a tree-hugging realist. Personally and collectively, we may be able to both reduce the amount and soften the character of violence that occurs during this ongoing and perhaps long-term shift. Or we may not. But this much is certain: if we do not approach it actively, if we do not talk about our predicament and what we are going to do about it, the violence will almost undoubtedly be far more severe, the privation more extreme.
Are you suggesting the shit could hit the fan?
It will hit the fan like it hit your nappies. The culture as a whole and most of its members are insane. The culture is driven by a death urge. An urge to destroy life. The culture wants to strip mine every last corner of the world in an endless churn of industry, creating consumable gizmos and trinkets that end up in landfills only a short time later. The Earth will not have it. We can either change voluntarily or be purged by fire.
I must admit, when I first saw you here, my immediate impulse was to knowingly give you a terminal illness and then to use your likeness to sell my brand of smokeless tobacco. But now that I have heard your timeless wisdom, I have a lot of thinking to do.
You should read the work of Derrick Jensen, as the premises we have been exploring are his. Read his prolific books, Endgame, Volumes 1 and 2.
HMM. Would he likely approve of the language and tone of this exchange?
Probably not, and so I apologize to him deeply. I just wanted to help spread his ideas any way I could. This crass cartoon, I hope, influences a few people to begin looking at the world in a new way. Especially young people who spend a lot of time on the net and who are used to humor that panders to the lowest common denominator.
Denominator is a big word.
You're right, I'm sorry.
Well done, old boy. I am going to Derrick Jensen's website now, and I will follow that up with some heavy reading about resource depletion, population overshoot, and finally, some pontificating on long-held, self-evident truths like the concept of property and what it means to be a human living in concert with all life on this planet.
Sweet, I'm going to go kill and prepare my own food because I'm a badass.
I will trade you my blanket for some food.
I'll pass.
Almost had you for a moment there.